Hi, it's Congresswoman Jan Schakowsky, and I'm back with my plans and pans. Well, this is one of the most unique and strange weeks within the House of Representatives. There was to be a simple vote on the question of gas stoves. I don't even want to get into the issue, but the Republicans want to make sure that there can't even be any research on whether there are some hazards with gas stoves. But that's not really the issue. The Republicans voted against the rule. In other words, a rule has to pass in order to move forward to vote on a bill. This has not happened since the year 2002, when a vote on the rule has failed. Usually we can move forward and then there's a vote, yes or no, on the bill itself. And the reason that this was held up, even on an issue probably not as serious to the country or the world, it really had to do with Republicans who were very angry about the default deal and the fact that we did, thank goodness, did not go into default. And I guess they were for going into default in this country, ruining the entire economy of the United States and perhaps beyond. So anyway, we did not have enough to vote on that bill on gas stoves, nor did they have enough votes on anything. So the Republicans are basically in a freeze right now, trying to work a negotiation among themselves on how to move forward with any agenda to present to the full Congress. I don't know how this is going to turn out, but I think right now, the people most on the far right among the Republicans are holding the Republicans hostage, Kevin McCarthy hostage, in order to get their way, to get the bills that they want brought to the floor and to get enough votes to pass those bills. You know, the Republicans right now have a 5-vote margin, so it takes almost all the Republicans, if they want to pass something on their own without Democrats, to have all the votes. It's really fascinating in a way, but also disturbing, because I bet you would like to see the Congress of the United States and the House of Representatives moving ahead on issues that impact Americans. So that's not happening right now. And so let me tell you bills that I introduced that I think are important to a lot of people. I introduced a bill called the Ticket Act. And I know that a lot of you who want to get tickets to various performances that are important to you and your family, maybe really special events, are very frustrated by what has happened in the ticketing industry. Often what you find is you go online and you try and purchase a ticket, you're given a price, and then as you move along toward culminating that transaction, you find out about these hidden costs, about the costs that are added on at the end that raise the rate of the ticket by a lot of money. I myself experienced that when I was buying tickets for Hamilton for the family, which I did at the end of the day for a lot more money than I had expected to pay, because I knew what the price of the ticket was originally and thought that was the cost. And then when I got to the end with all the additional costs that were added, it was a lot more money than I had expected. I went ahead, but I thought it was frustrating that I didn't know from the get-go what the price was going to be. So the legislation, the Ticket Act, would say that the full cost from beginning to end of a ticket has to be displayed when you go online to get a ticket. And the second thing is that the ticket sellers have to tell you that they actually have the tickets in hand, because sometimes they start advertising for things where they don't have the tickets yet, and then lots of confusion ensues. And so that's the beginning of it. I'm co-sponsoring it with my colleague from Florida, Gus Bilirakis. We're working with the stakeholders. That would include the consumers and the ticket sellers to really hone the legislation, but to make sure that consumers don't feel cheated at the end of the game. So I'd like to be able to move forward with that legislation. Right now, we're not moving forward with any legislation. Another bill that I introduced, an issue I've been working on a long time, and that is food safety, is called the Food Chemical Reassessment Act. Now, there are many chemicals in our food. I've talked to you about this before. Many chemicals, I'm talking about hundreds, thousands really, of chemicals in our food that have either not been tested for decades or have never been tested, but added to foods. So this legislation that I am co-sponsoring with Congresswoman Rosa DeLauro would create the Office of Food Safety Reassessment at the Food and Drug Administration, and would also establish a food advisory committee to help the Department of Health and Human Services to make sure we know what is and isn't fit to be put in our food. The kind of lighthearted way we put it, we want to see the F put back into the Food and Drug Administration, because there is not a lot of focus. There has not been a lot of emphasis on making sure, especially when it comes to chemicals, that our food is as safe as it needs to be. So I'd like to have a debate about this legislation and ultimately have a vote on it as well. We'll see. I'm hoping we get back to voting. And finally, I introduced the Older Americans Bill of Rights. And as any of you who watch my Plans and Pans know, that dealing with the needs of older Americans, which of course I am, but I was involved well before I was a senior myself, is that we want to make sure that seniors are be able to retire with dignity, that they're able to have high quality health care, and that we're all able to have basic financial security, which is elusive to many, many older Americans, unfortunately. And so specifically, what the Bill of Rights would do would be to, one, lower prescription drug costs, a tremendous barrier for the health care of seniors, to protect Medicare, Medicaid, and improve Social Security, make it even better. The bill would also work to prevent financial exploitation, increase access to affordable housing, and also to increase affordable long-term care, home care, and all long-term care. We don't have a policy for long-term care in the United States of America. We need one. Stay tuned at this interesting moment in history where right now the majority party, the Republicans, are not able to have votes on things that they want. And maybe it means that there's going to have to be serious negotiations with the Democrats to figure out how the Congress can move forward. In the meantime, I'm going to hope that we will be able to move ahead and vote in ways that are going to help all of you. So thanks for watching Pans and Plans, and I'll see you next week. Thank you for watching my video. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, where my handle is @Jan Schakowsky.